Loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Aaron, is that say I correct, Aaron?
Yep,
Okay, how are you doing, Aaron?
I'm good. How are you?
Perfect, I'm perfect. So very busy with the band, so it's always up for an interview, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, shoot, I would say.
Okay, so are you glad to finally have Fairy Tale out?
Yeah, actually, yes. Was a lot of work, and yeah, we're feeling really. I have a really good feeling about this one. So yeah, I'm glad it's there, and we finally have a decent label to get it all done. So it came with an LP and digipack, jewel case, the whole thing. Even I had to make 55 masks, like our corpse paint. I made 55 of these plaster masks for the first 55 editions. So it was kind of special. Yeah, I'm glad it's out there. Yeah.
And what was it like writing the story and the lyrics for this one?
Excuse me, that.
What was it like writing the story and the lyrics?
So the concept, the story.
Yeah.
This time we went for actually yeah fairy tale. Ardek and I we are the two most of the time speaking about concepts and stuff. And actually, we always Carach Angren is always about spirits and hauntings. Ghosts and hauntings. That's what we always have been doing on our previous albums. So this time we were like, okay, we should do something with fairy tales. It was more like Ardek's idea, and actually we wanted to do that already the previous album, but then we came up with a war theme and on Where the Corpses Sing Forever. But actually this time we were like, okay, we got to do something with fairy tales. Let's see what we can come up with. And I started to write, and Sleeping Beauty, and I couldn't come up with something original or what something that's already been done. And I thought, start checking about Hansel and Gretel. It's a bit cannibalistic sphere there. About the witch eating the kid who was sitting in the cage. And all of a sudden, I came up with a sick, realistic story. That actually has become the concept. It's actually exactly how the fairy tale goes, only as realistic as possible. So without any hauntings, without okay, it's kind of always horror. So the doom scenario is to the max. But yeah, it's the cool thing about this one. And it was actually meant for one song. So I started to write this whole concept, and I showed it to Arda, and he was like, "Wow, this is fucking amazing. We got to do this for a whole album." And that's what it turned out to be. It became a whole album. Very daring. Because with children involved and stuff. It turned out to be such a shocking and good horror story. We were like, "Oh shit, we got to do this." But there were some issues about okay with the children and the abuse. These were tricky parts. So I was like, okay, it would lose all its power if we would leave that out. But I think we found a good way to put it out there in a serious way, respectful enough. Let's put it that way. So, all right. So it's actually the Hansel and Gretel story rewritten as realistic as possible. That's how it is.
And so at what point did you realize you could have completely insane conversations with yourself and turn it into music?
You mean when I wrote the story? When I thought,
Well, throughout your albums, you have little parts, mainly on Where the Corpses Sing Forever, where you just have conversations that sound completely insane.
okay, okay, cool. Oh, you mean the conversations with the yeah? What you mean? What the actor or what the character at that point says? You mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I don't really pay attention that much. It's just a feeling, it's just our lyrics go all over the place. So and well, I think yeah, it's been done a lot here. Speaking for the character itself, because yeah, it was also difficult this one, because I didn't want to mention any names, but actually we've done it to pull off. I only say like Hansel and Gretel like two, three times somewhere later on the album. So yeah, it was quite hard to put it all out there, saying a whole lyric about he and her and she's going there and the boy and this. So yeah, sometimes you have to speak for the persons themselves, you know.
And what made you guys decide you don't need a bass player for the band?
That's actually a long thing going way back. We actually always we have a bass track, so it's live, it's there, it's pre-recorded, and so the cool thing is it's always tight, you know. But we've actually used a few one bass player and a couple of guitarists, and actually all guys we know more or less from our own region, and it didn't turn out, you know. It was like, you know, Carach was growing and other guys had problems with their jobs, and also with the bass player. Somehow we are very, you know, we are three very, yeah, open guys. If you come to us, you can speak with us. We're very easygoing, you know. But if you are in Carach Angren itself as an somehow as an outsider and you're not, it will always be us three, you know. Somehow it seemed to be difficult, you know. It didn't really. Yeah, I think it's a matter of finding the right person who fits in there, and maybe one day we will have. It will be so easy that we just can arrange that someone comes and plays with us. But it's a whole thing. Yeah, you have to be build up some kind of relationships anyway, anyhow. You know, with a bass player or whatever. And for us, it didn't work out in the past, and somehow we're still doing it now with only me as on the guitars and with the backing samples and the bass track. So uh, it's doable. So we like it this way. So maybe in the future we're going to use another bass player, and but I think if we would use something, then it would be a second guitarist to have more melody lines, you know, more harmonic stuff going on the guitars, and because the bass is already there, you know, and but I understand for some they miss a visual part, seeing more guys on stage, but yeah, we like it, the three of us. It's cool.
And with all your albums telling stories, how do you choose what songs you put in your live sets?
It's just actually uh, the album now. This album is out. This is No Fairytale, so of course we'll play like three, four of the new songs, and yeah, there are like if you talk about Lamendam, our first album, the Carriage Wheel Murder, you know, that's one of the songs I love to play it. You know, it stomps hard. You know, it's a great song. So that's one song we will always play. You know, and yeah, if you have like six, seven, eight songs, then we have already like 50 minutes. You know, and then the set is full. You know, and so it's not easy. We have a lot of songs we would like to play, but okay, for now we will play four or five new songs, and then the rest, like I think of Lamadam, the Carriage Wheel Murder, Where the Corpses Sing Forever, Lingering in an Infant Haunting is a great song. The Funerary Dirge of the Violinist, also a great song, but this one is like 8 minutes, you know. So if you play this one, it's like sometimes we have to skip that one and just take like two, three other songs, you know, a bit shorter. So you're always, yeah, you're always bound to this time, you know. But yeah, if you're going, if you're headlining, if you're a growing band, then of course you can play like maximum an hour or plus an hour. That so you have more choice. So yeah, there's a lot of music to play.
And what songs are you looking forward to playing live from Fairy Tale?
For now, we just had our release like 2 weeks ago. It was very difficult because for this album, it's way more lyrics, way more. Yeah, it's more somehow, you know. It's okay for me on the guitars a bit. It's more basically. It's not too much melodies going on compared to the other songs actually, but. Yeah, it was very difficult, but I like the Two Flies Flew into a Black Sugar Cop Up was is just a really cool song to play, and actually we have so Ardak and Namtar, they're brothers, and they have another brother, and he has a girlfriend, and she runs a dancing school. She's a dancing teacher, and she offered herself to do like two acts during that release show, and she danced like two times, you know, on certain parts. Also on a part called Invisible Physic Entity. That's a melodic part from Lamendam. So yeah, that was cool to do now during the live show. So for me, yeah, it's certain parts. It's not for me like okay, I love to play this song. It depends certain parts. So, but I think every song has charms for me. Everywhere there are parts cool to do.
And you just recently finished your very first North American tour with Septic Flesh, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Did you enjoy your first time over in America and the one show in Canada?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was America was for us. I mean, we were accepted in a great way. We sold lots of merchandise. We had was like very dedicated fans. We always had a row when we went after the show to the merchandise stand to do some autographs and pictures. So yeah, it was amazing. We were blown away by America. It was great, and also in also in Canada, that was yeah, it was great there. I remember the theater was like yeah, it was like a big movie theater in Montreal. And yeah, the audience was great there. I have no. We want to go back, man. Canada, America, it's fucking amazing. Yeah. So yeah, we're quite anxious to, or quite yeah, jumping around to get back. Yeah.
And what are your current tour plans outside of like Summer Breeze and Hellfest and Kings of Black Metal?
Nothing is planned yet. We first should go on a tour with Moonspell and Septic Flesh. Now already, I believe in March, April, somewhere, and but it got cancelled because some reasons with official reasons. I don't know exactly what, but so we're waiting on a new offer. I think any moment, maybe if we would do a tour, it would be somewhere in five, 4 or 5 months from now. But I'm not sure about that. But there will be a tour.
And so Fairy Tale has been out for almost 2 weeks now. What kind of feedback have you gotten?
I have to say, I'm not a real follower. I'm not the kind of guy who's following everything on the internet. I'm just doing my thing here, being busy. But what I hear, yeah, it's good. I think, especially for me in art, because it was a big, a daring thing, especially in the black metal world. They're all very eager to say this and that cannot be done, or we are. I say we are free. We do what we want according to our feelings. So we're very true here in Carach. But of course, it's always a bit like shit. We're gonna make something that is very daring and with fairy tales and a realistic concept here. Yeah, you're wondering how it's gonna be accepted in the world. But I think we're what I heard is it's really great. Yeah, some people are like some fans. They love Lamadam, for example. It's a little part that I read, and they're like, okay, this album, the lyrics are way too easy and too simple. They don't like it. I see a lot of shit. The lyrics, they're a bit, but I understand. And actually, it's not meant here on this album to be written poetic. It's really like a fairy tale. And they're told very, yeah, simply, straightforward. So for me, I love to do it. It was very easy to me to explain what I wanted. I felt it and I could write it down, and there was no difficult English poetry thing where I had to be bound to, to. Normally, actually, if you go to the previous albums, I think I'm a bit more dependent on this poetry thing, But I love to do this on this album, saying straightforward, being very simple, and yeah, it was a cool thing to do. So I think the next album is going to be different again. It's not going to be like this. So I yeah, but I think we're growing. So you get a bigger audience who will not agree with your things. But I think this is very good. I think it's very good. There are people like, well, what the hell is this? We're not the same band. We're not like. Okay, if those people would say, "Oh yeah, it's the fourth album. It's a bit better as the previous one." Everything would be the same style. A lot of bands do that. I don't like it. You should do different things. But okay, you shouldn't lose your potential. I mean, you shouldn't lose that real power. I mean, there are some bands they grow, they make a few killer albums, and then of course then comes an album like, what the hell is this? So we don't want to do that. But okay, I think yeah, I think we have accomplished a big thing. I'm very satisfied. Yeah.
And when you guys are practicing, do you get all painted up?
not during practicing, only during the shows, you know. So, but yeah, I remember in the beginning when we started to paint, you know, I was always the guy like corpse paint, man. No one fucks with my corpse paint, you know, and actually everyone where I worked with was a bit against, you know. But then I finally met the guys in Carach, you know, and they saw it really worked for our band, you know. So if you start a band and you start corpse paint, it's not easy, you know. You have to learn how to paint. You have to get used to it, you know. It's itchy and shit like that, you know. But of course, if you do that stuff for years, every week shows and stuff like that, you get used to it. So, but no, we don't do it during the rehearsals. No, it's too much effort, you know.
So I threw out a couple of questions on the internet, and the
hmm
well, I threw out the idea of people asking questions, and the first one I got is somebody wanting to know what makeup you recommend for corpse paint.
we use Criolan. So it's just a brand that I know. It's a good brand. So that's all I can say about it. There are some. I believe we used another one called Grimas, but yeah, it didn't really work with the. Yeah, you gotta. We used to have just cheap ass kinds of corpse paint, you know. But yeah, when you do it professionally, you find some better brand. I can only say Criolan is a very good one.
And the very last question I got is, oh, countless people asked me to ask you this. They just want me to end is, did you like the meat?
If I like to read, yeah. Cool, yeah. That's one of those daring things on these albums, yeah. So, yeah. No, I don't like meat at all, actually, that much. So, I'm not a real meat eater, but so maybe that's the best way to answer this question. So,
Yeah,
yeah, well, let's put it this way. Yes, I like the meat.
yeah, that's what I got.
All right, perfect.
Cool.
So, yeah, well,